Bienvenidos y welcome to the Biz Bruja podcast, where we're claiming our powerful intuition, our sacred medicina, embracing our magic and healing ancestral patterns, invoke powerful creations in our own well-being, our lives, familias, community, and our businesses. Remembering that our businesses are so important at this time. I'm the creatrix of this blogcast, the Biz Bruja herself, Vanessa Codorniu, a modern-day Bruja, fourth-generation psychic medium, clinical hypnotist, energy healer, and soul biz mentor and coach. An Argentine-American who started reading adults at 16, became a professional intuitive at 22, and now guides creatives, intuitives, healers, and entrepreneurs to break through fears, connect to the practical power of their intuition so they can serve the world powerfully. Hello, everybody. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. Bienvenidos. I wanted to hop on here and quickly talk about something that's been really weighing on my mind, on my heart. And I feel that muchos de ustedes, many of you, have had this weighing on you, especially in the last year. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about this whole concept of keeping up with the Brujas. Now, you may not call it that, but there's been some sort of, I think, pressure online in social media. Maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's YouTube, blame it on Instagram, right? But Facebook's out of this picture. But still, on social media that has been both supporting us with information on social justice, on racism, on oppression, on Me Too, on the injustices that are happening around the world, and sharing valuable mental health information, sharing the plight of our brothers and sisters across the world, por todo el mundo. At the same time, we're seeing so much information about spirituality, about ser una bruja, como ser una brujita, right? How to be the spiritual, empowered, wild woman energy in the world. And it's incredible and it's amazing because y'all know that when I started, Wi-Fi wasn't around. And so we're really happy and I'm really grateful that we have so much information. But something that I realized being the founder of the School of the Healing Artes and supporting my folks through the Nacimos Mágicas 8-week intuitive journey or the mediumship course or the Reiki certification or even the Akashic records and spiritual business coaching, that so many of the brujitas and curanderas and healers out there have been feeling this pressure to be some sort of bruja standard or to be more spiritual, or I'm not spiritual enough, or I'm not practicing enough, or I don't have my morning routine down, or I skipped my Reiki practice, or I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And so I really wanted to talk about this. That's why I called it Keeping Up with the Brujas, because what we want to do when we step onto or at least what I want to do, so I'm not going to tell you what you want to do, but I feel that part of the idea, la energía, right, that guides us to our true selves, to our intuition, to who we truly are, to our soul purpose, is the energy of setting ourselves free from societal impositions, religious constraints, and rules that truly haven't supported us as humans who are spiritual, who are more than spiritual, have a mind, body, and spirit, who are creative beings. And so to me, the idea of stepping onto my spiritual path was for healing and for liberation. I felt it as a very little girl, como era una niña, that I didn't like this idea that like women could cry and men couldn't cry. I didn't like the idea of girls having to wear pink and boys having to wear blue. I was like, why can't I wear blue? I love me some blue, okay? I love blue. Me encanta el azul. And so these rules that are imposed upon us from childhood, even from before childhood, right? Our room is decorated a certain way. And it's okay if you like to decorate your child's room a certain way, so I'm not criticizing that at all. I'm just saying that, or invoking the idea, isn't stepping onto our spiritual path full on really about the healing of our own ancestral stories, of our own mindsets, of all the things that we've been told that we should be or shouldn't be, and allowing ourselves to be free, allowing ourselves to not worry or feel so bad about the past, allowing ourselves not to stress so much about the future, and inviting us into the fullness of the present moment. And I know that sounds really beautiful, right? The idea of being in the present moment. For all of us, it can be a challenge. That's why this information online and social media and all the amazing content creators out there and healers and curanderas and brujitis, it's all wonderful. But when does it become yet another thing that now is imposed from the outside, pressuring us to be a certain way? And so I wanted to bring up this topic because I have met so many folks in my school who've been like, oh my God, I'm not a good bruja, or I'm not a good healer because I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And I want to invite you into the idea of this, setting ourselves free from this expectation that a healer looks a certain way, acts a certain way, or in order to be a healer, we have to practice, 5 billion times, whatever it is, or that we have to do things in a certain way. I would invite you all to allow yourself the understanding that your spiritual path, your being a brujita, a bruja, started long ago before you ever incarnated into this life, right? It started with your ancestors. It started with your own soul's story, la historia de nuestras almas, right? The story of our own soul's journey that had other experiences before we came in here. And so, yes, we carry so much sacred wisdom. Now, do we all think that we're just going to go to a sweat lodge or be under the full moon, dancing and shouting and getting naked or getting purified, and suddenly all of that's going to be completely integrated? I'm not going to say never, never say never, right? Never, nunca say nunca, right? At the same time, part of us, at least in my view of thinking, and I don't know if this resonates with you all, I'd love to hear it. Part of us being incarnated in this life is bringing in all of this goodness from other lifetimes and the stuff that needs to be healed. Bringing in all this goodness into the family, the lineage that we incarnated, and the stuff that needs to be healed. Incarnated at a particular historical time, and then unpacking that shit, okay? Unpacking it. And, I would say, how can we integrate when we still, how are you going to integrate the design of a room if there's still old boxes or old things that we haven't opened up? And so give yourselves the space and the time for healing. Please do not pressure yourself to take a Reiki course or an intuition course or spirit guides or curanderismo. And although you may be a healer from another lifetime, a curandera, a priestess, a brujita, and it may be heavy in your lineage, please do not pressure yourself to be the grand wizard overnight, right? And really, don't pressure yourself at all. Allow yourself to be guided by your passion. Now, I totally get this so I'm talking to folks who are on their healing path and studying and learning and possibly even thinking of not only healing their own ancestral lineage and their own lives and maybe even creating their own businesses, right? That's what we talk about in this podcast as well. This pressure that we put on ourselves just replaces societal pressure, religious pressure, right? Capitalistic pressure, colonizer pressure. So let's take that moment in time now, where either you're returning to work or returning to the world, right? I can't say post-pandemic because it's still happening. It's a global affair. Allow yourself that time, that there's divine timing and there's a plan that's greater than our mind can even fathom unfolding for us. And that in fact, it's been unfolding from the first moment we ever extended from source, came into a body and was like, wow, Earth is slow AF, okay? Right? Because I find it slow sometimes. My mind moves quickly. My spirit moves quick. It's like boom, 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 boom. Let's create it. Allow yourself to know that in some ways you are working in a slower time frame. And when a soul is in a body, no matter how big you think your body is, okay? Your soul is still zillion billion times much more expansive, much more multidimensional, multi-intentional, expressional. I just made that up, but I like it. Than our little bodies are. Our little bodies still need sleep. They need food at a certain time. And so know that it takes time to integrate the wisdom that we're already carrying in our spirit and our soul, to integrate the healing that we're doing more consciously now than ever. I mean, I think we can all maybe agree a little bit, or a lot, mucho o poco, that the pandemic gave so many folks an opportunity to stop the everyday hustle and bustle and distractions and to start learning about the stars, learning about ancestral healing, learning about energy work, learning about Bruja practices, making it a part of our everyday lives. And for a lot of folks, it also invited them to step into their sacred work. And so when I talk about, keeping up with the Brujas or keeping up, it's really more about, please do not create this image of what you should be or need to be. I think that one of the gems of being spiritual is allowing ourselves to flow within our truth moment to moment, to allow ourselves to trust. And remember, because we're in a body, even if we have great visions of what's coming in a year or 2 or 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, we still have to wake up every day. We still have to wake up every day, go through the process. And so there's a wisdom in being human. There's an experience that we get as these incredibly, intergalactic, interdimensional spirits and souls. And now we're in this little body and we're like, oh my God, we only have 24 hours in the day. And we have a certain amount of time, and then we're going to pass and leave the vessel and then go into another life or chill out and maybe be a spirit guide in between lives or whatever we want to do. But the thing is that when we start comparing ourselves to others or using that inner critic that maybe before you got on the spiritual path was abusing you about, you're not thin enough, or you're not this enough, or you're not that enough, or you haven't advanced enough. Pay attention if there's a critical voice that's now like, you're not bruja enough, you're not getting enough, you only have one kind of incense, what kind of bruja are you? It's a full moon, you didn't do a ritual, what's going on? And I've heard this from my students. I've heard that they're like, oh my God, I feel like a failure. I didn't do a full moon ritual. Well, sometimes the full moon may be in a particular sign or a particular place in your chart where being at rest or being with family or being on a great date or whatever it may, or being in a hot tub or just going to bed, may be exactly the ritual that energy is calling for. And so, I've been a brujita for a long time. My mom taught me limpias and other things like at 5 years old, 6 years old. I was witnessing people reading people and medium sessions, not only in my family, but going to sessions. And I also realized that even though we did these things, that we still needed healing. And so as I got older, I studied hypnosis and I studied Reiki and I studied so many other tons of things, astrology, numerology, to be able to understand myself more, to be able to unpack where did I come from, why am I feeling this guilt or this shame or this lack of self-love. And so be mindful if you're using now, the inner critic is like beating you up for not being a great bruja, a great curandera or spiritualist. Know that we need different things at different times. And while there's this beautiful image of this bruja who always shows up under the moon and does her ritual, it's just perfect and just so, being a bruja is all about change. And I found when I was younger that, I had all the tools. I'm not saying I don't have them now, but I had all the tools, all of them, like from other traditions, from my traditions, it was just like all of them. And I tend to find that as I get older, I've realized, and I knew this on some level, but now it's been integrated. Remember we were talking about integration? We may know something on a mind level. We may know something on a level where we're like, oh yeah, I know that, that's knowledge. But when it becomes fully integrated into our mind, body, and spirit, which to me means that we're living and breathing it, when it becomes fully integrated, it's a different thing. And I feel that as much as I always had my altars like on point, and I always had like my certain ritual candle for the moon, and it was aligned, and I knew what Gemini was, and I knew what this, all the years of all the times. And I'm someone who did use spell work. I don't use it now specifically, but I use spell work from, I don't even know, my teen years to probably my early 30s. And I had the spells to get the job in the new moon and releasing the dark moon and all these things that now when the new moon or the full moon or the waning or the waxing or whatever it may be, I ask myself, what do I need? Which, case in point, y'all know that it's Sun in Gemini right now. So it's Gemini season. For all of you that don't know, I have Gemini rising, Moon in Gemini, and Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, which is retrograde right now. So I was like, wait a minute. I never did this podcast episode where we talked about keeping up with the Brujas. So I pulled out my phone and here I am. Because there ain't no time like the present for anybody who's got Gemini placements. Now, we're in Sun in Gemini right now, Moon in Pisces. A lot of us are very tired, right? Mercury's in Gemini. We've got Venus in Cancer, Mars in Cancer, Jupiter, the expander in Pisces, and several others in different places. When we're in Gemini season, when we are also dealing with the Moon in Pisces, allow yourself rest. Allow yourself that quiet moment to breathe into your heart, to breathe into your being, to just connect with this present moment and to ask yourself, what do I need right now? And to release any guilt if you hear, I need sleep, I need a walk, I want to take a bath. In the middle of the day, yeah. I want to make this, I want to cook this, I want to eat my grandmother's cookies. Allow yourself to be guided by your deep intuition. Because at the end of the day, being a badass, incredible, fierce Bruja is truly about not following any trends, about not following what is the hot thing or what you need to be doing and all these things. It is about aligning ourselves with our mind, body, and spirit, making the time to truly listen to what is happening beneath the surface, behind our eyes, in that deep place of knowing. And aligning ourselves with the elements within us and around us, and being able to follow our deep knowing, no matter what others think, no matter what the trends are, no matter what the majority is saying. Because remember that a Bruja is a rebel. A Bruja is a revolutionary, and she is a community connector. And just like he or she can connect different parts of the community together, she's also working on the inner worlds, traveling through dream time, a todos los niveles de conciencia, to heal. And guess what rest does? This is Moon in Pisces talking now. It heals us, not only physically, but our spirits get to travel, and our inner Bruja gets to heal, release, reconnect, and recharge. And so this is just a deep invitation for all of you to know that you are already wonderful, incredible, amazing, beautiful, just powerful Brujas, that you already were incarnated with everything that you need within you, and that this journey can be about unpacking our stuff on all levels, about calling out the stuff on all levels, unreleasing the stuff on all levels, reclaiming it, celebrating it, let's not forget that, integrating it, and being it. And so as I was saying earlier, while I used to have all of the tools, and I still love tools, what I mean by tools is like incense, the sage, the herbs, the this, the that, I found that as I got older, I let go of spell work. Not because it's bad or good, I just did it for a long time. And the spell work became my words of every day. The hypnosis sessions I do for folks and for myself. The tools became my own hands, became my own eyes, my own tongue that spells the spells by the words I speak every day in every way. And that the magic, while it's so cool and so amazing to see your beautiful altar all lit up, and you got the statues and the stones and the things, y la cosa, y esto y el otro, that the altar is really you, that the sacred work is you in motion, at rest, breathing, feeling, being, loving, accepting. And so we truly already are all the Bruja we need. Now, sure, can we take courses in herbs and learn about how to heal with herbs? Absolutely. Can we do a candle work class and learn about how to work with candles? Can we get the super cool candle that's coming out? Sure, and work with it. I have one right here. I love it. A Frida Kahlo candle and a Stevie Nicks one, okay? And we can do all that. It's just that self-love and self-acceptance is such a powerful healer. Now, I know some people said to me, but Vanessa, I don't want to get lazy. Vanessa, I don't want to get lazy. When we are creating worlds within us, in our body, and within our minds, and within our spirit, when we're healing ancestral trauma, mindsets that have limited our ancestors in the past, and real, actual experiences that have happened to them and to us, how could we be lazy? And so please, my beloved people, mi gente que yo adoro tanto, please be compassionate with yourself on this moon in Pisces and ask yourself, what do I need right now? Knowing that everything that you need is within. And so that is for the healers, for the dreamers, for the beers. I do want to add a note before we close. So important not to compare ourselves when it comes to even how we eat, how we lose weight, how we train, our fitness levels, our love lives, our work. Talking about business for a moment. You know, there are so many folks that sometimes look at people who have 100,000 followers and all this stuff online. Some of those amazing people, let's give them the credit that they're amazing, because we all have something amazing within us, which is they may or may not be in sessions. They may be now an influencer in a different way. And then there may be people who are in a hut or in an apartment or in a project or out on an island or in a house or in a studio or wherever they may be that are doing powerful Bruja work, but nobody knows about. And so know that real Bruja magic and power cannot be measured by social media. It cannot be measured by amounts of money. It cannot even be measured by amounts of certifications or even attainments like, I've been in this 50 years, I've been doing this work 50 years or whatever it may be. It's again, how we live and breathe, how we show up for our brothers and sisters on the earth. It's so many more things. And I also acknowledge that you all may have a different definition, and that's really perfectly fine, because I'm not, the end-all be-all. I'm not Vanessapedia, right? So, but I'm sharing, my thoughts here because I just felt so moved. And especially when building a business, I am someone that really fought off and really kind of was really scared in some ways to fully step into my sacred work. Again, because, you think and you believe that, I sat in Sweat Lodge for 20 years and I practiced rituals for over 20 years, starting as a young person, that I felt that this was private, that this was a sacred mystery. I wasn't taking pictures of all the circles that I did monthly for 16 years for free in my apartment. It's only later in life that I started to take some pictures because I realized, well, if I don't put some lights on my temple, people are not going to see what I'm doing. And that's when I started to step into. But you all know that when I show up, I'm really authentic. I'm not trying to present you or sell you a lifestyle. I'm not trying to present or sell, if you do this and make this kind of money, you're going to do this or you're going to be that. I'm inviting you into your deepest wisdom. I'm inviting you to connect to your powerful intuition. I'm holding space for your deepest healing that we can transmute, understand, release, and reclaim our ancestral gifts so we can truly live as I feel our ancestors would want us to. Liberated, free, full, empowered, embodied, present, gozando de lo bueno, right? Because it's not about trabajo, trabajo, trabajo all day. It's not about work, work, work. It is also about gozar, celebration, being fully present on earth. And so if you're all stepping into building a business, bringing your sacred work into the world, Do some work on releasing those energies, those mindsets, those past lifetimes, those energetic, strings that are just still holding us back about what it means to be a spiritual worker in the world. Know that there is a lot of abundance. And I find that some folks say to me, oh, I must not be bruja enough. I must not be spiritual enough because I tried to do this and it didn't work. And they think that it's their intuition. Well, if it was meant to be, it would have happened. Well, how about asking your intuition and your guides and your ancestors? Is there a better way? Is there something I'm not seeing? Should I sleep on it and maybe I'll get a dream? What do I need to release in order to receive more of what I want to receive? Whether it be abundance, relationship, love, whatever it may be. And so when we start to ask these deep questions, we stop assuming that if it was meant to be, it would just work out for us. Let me tell you, if I did that, I would have given up dating a long time ago. Because while I had amazing relationships, and I had many of them, I've been in love many times, a lot of my relationships after the age of 28 kept ending. But I was like, I'm going to manifest this, whatever healing I need to do. And I kept asking, what else do I need to release? What else do I need to release? What do I need to embrace? And in my business, I have to say I was successful pretty immediately, but it was also growing from a very young age. I started reading people at 16. I started doing Reiki energy healing at 22, but I was already pulling energy out of people's bodies before that because I saw it in my family. I saw my mom do it and my grandmother on my father's side. And so we will have some immediate success in some areas. Some other areas may be challenging, but I invite you not to allow the images on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, to mar your own perception of your own experience, to not allow you to fully embrace and feel your journey. Because your journey may be similar to other people's, but yet it's completely different. When I speak on my journey, people are like, oh, I relate. But I know that they didn't start reading people at 16, right? I know that they didn't go professional at 22. And I know that they didn't get laid off in 2012, the day before a major surgery, but they do relate to aspects of it. They do relate to aspects of my story, as many of you will. And so just know they have their own unique story. Every one of my students has their own unique journey and story. Each of you have your own story. And when we are comparing, well, my story is not as good as that one, or look at that one, or this, when you see me thriving online, right? When you see me, a lot of people say, oh my God, you kind of have it all, etc. When you see me in a loving relationship, when you see me in a new home, when you see me being successful with ease and grace in my work, well, I've been online 9 years and I've been working on myself a long time. And that's been my journey. Yours will be different. You might have already found your true love at 20. And now at 40, you are trying to create your business and struggling a little bit. And so let's honor that we are all different. Let's honor that what we see on social media isn't always the truth. There are people who are literally trying to cultivate images so you'll be envious of them. It was like some study I read the other day. I was like, what? Yes. And so don't fall for those spells. Don't fall for those webs of illusions. It's Moon in Pisces, so illusions, right? Break through them. Get to the real intuition. And allow people to inspire you. Like Clarissa Pinkola Estes, inspired the hell out of me. I got that book when it came out, back in the day, right? And my friend gave it to me, and it was like this thick hardcover. And if you don't know about Clarissa Pinkola Estes, please look her up. And it's the women who run with the wolves, right? It's about the wild woman archetype. I cried, I wept, I read that thing, and I don't even know how many hours. It was like less than 2 days. And my friend's like, great, now it's a doorstopper. It's a paperweight. But I read it because it called to my soul and inspired me. But I also know that her story is hers and mine is mine. And so in this time, let's release any of this BS about keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with the Garcias, keeping up with the Gonzalez, keeping up with the Brujas. Muchachas, we don't have to keep up with shit, okay? We don't. We don't have to keep up with anything. That's an exterior belief system that's been placed on us. Rather, connect to your intuition. Tap into the joy that you have doing the sacred work that you're called to do. Because it would be really overwhelming to me if I'm like, oh my God, I didn't practice my Reiki positions. I have to do it now. I mean, it would be so like dull. Instead of, oh, I need to go do a Reiki treatment because I really feel it and I want it. I want to go do it. Let me treat myself to this. Or if I would be like, oh God, I have to go do the natal charts. Oh, I have to spend 2 hours doing this. Instead of, oh wow, I wonder what, is going on astrologically and let me go do it. And so instead of comparison, instead of the inner critic having free reign, allow your inner wonder child to come out. Your inner child that liked to play and create before it was judged, before it was told it wasn't enough, before it was told it was too much. And be like, hey, what's going to make you happy today? What do you want to create? What do you want to explore? Do you want to do the tarot cards today? Oh no, you want to take a walk. Oh, you want to hang out with friends? Let's do that. That's what's going to bring you into this greater alignment. Because those desires that come up, they're like, yeah, let's play with friends, or let's do the tarot, or let's journal today. Those are just little breadcrumbs that are just leading you back to your truest of selves. I like that. So this little birdie is heading off now. Thank you all so much. And remember, your spiritual journey is your own. Your way of being a bruja is your own. And the way that you find your way to your sacred work, right, which is mostly based on healing. Every successful online or offline entrepreneur in the healing world who's legit and real and full and really anchored into their mission, into their service, they've done a ton of healing. They've let go of comparison, at different levels of the journey. And so know that you're already on your journey. You cannot F this up, okay? You can't, because your mission was already sweetly added into your soul, embedded in your soul. You are already wrapped deeply in your purpose. And every day is an invitation to continue releasing what is not true, what is not you, what is not in alignment. Muchas gracias, mis amores. I love you all. I'm so excited that I decided to do this. Now I'm going to head out and do a walk. And tonight I'm going to be on Latina Podcasters. And it's going to be an IG interview. So if you listen to this and you can jump on, we'll see you then. Mucho amor.